Helldivers to Hellpods. Repeat, Helldivers to Hellpods.
Alright, Helldivers, welcome back. We're back on Da Yang on Arata Prime. Love the Vietnam reference. So all day, well, it started at the beginning of my day. I wanted to do a grenadier loadout, so that's what we're gonna do. I don't know how optimum it's gonna be, but we're gonna try it. This is literally my first time using the belt-fed grenade launcher as well. What to go along with it? Well, we got the 1-2 with our underslung grenade launcher, and then we got the grenade pistol, and I've got mega grenades for the well, you know, the big bad boys. Now, supply FRV did come in handy on that last one, I won't lie, but I feel as though we need this stratagem for the crowd control more than we need the ammo. So what we're gonna do, should probably take napalm strikes. I think rail cannon and precision strike can stay. We're gonna take vitality. Hopefully we can get some help on this one. This is a spore strain D10 in a city. Last game it was hell. That was not a good performance, but we're gonna get down here and get the SOS beacon down. Now, I've got one. I got something to talk about today that's very interesting to me and apparently interesting to a friend of mine. He requested that I cover it in a video, and at first I was like, man, I'm not qualified to really speak on this. It's a prion disorder, which we'll get into that, but you know, far more intelligent people than me are completely vexed by these diseases already, and I don't even have like a single, you know, reference I can specifically quote, you know, to even like mildly back up what I'm saying. Not even just to back it up, but to you know, to have a smidge of credibility. What are my qualifications on the matter? Well, essentially none, other than a recreational enthusiasm, perhaps. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. There's dragon roaches on this planet. Didn't freaking know that. I'm on fire. Oh god, please. Has anyone else's Helldivers been acting up lately? Because mine certainly has. Like, it's making me watch the intro every time I clock in. And a lot of times it takes a while to connect. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to talk about a very complicated subject of which I need to handle with some tact and precision, but you know, perhaps we may fail. Okay, where the fuck are we going? I guess we're gonna try to get this thing off. We do have friends now. We do have friends, so that's an excellent start. Is the pod over here? It is over here.
Say hello to democracy.
Perhaps a different armor choice would have been optimal, but this is the one we're rocking because, you know, drip above all else in life. 90% of the job is looking cool. Credit to, I don't know, maybe Sergeant First Class, Sergeant Simmons now. You know, honestly, probably one of the coolest guys I've ever known. I'm just not just saying that just because I think he's cute. But anyways. What about these prion disorders? Well, my buddy's up in a northern state. Not to dox him too badly, okay? And he sent a video of a elk ranch of some sort, okay? And I was like, yeah, that's why CWD is a problem. You might be thinking, CWD1, what is that? Well, it's chronic wasting disease. It's a prion disorder affecting cervids, right? What is a prion disorder? Well, say on occasion a protein might be misconstructed, or the term in quotations misfolded, in such a way that it causes kind of this chain reaction with other proteins, causing them to also misfold. You know, once you have it, you can't get rid of it. Your body doesn't know what to do with them, and thusly it becomes a problem. It accumulates throughout the body, and specifically the problems start to arise in symptoms when it accumulates in neural tissue. You know, like brain matter and you know, blah blah blah, neurons. All right. That's when you start noticing the symptoms, but eventually you just kind of die. It's terminal. There's no treatment for it. Well, chronic wasting disease affects cervids. So I had heard, this is the part that was sticky for me, is years ago I had heard, I don't even know where exactly, they think that CWD became such a problem on the East Coast from cervid, like farmers or ranchers, bringing live animals from the West to the East for their deer farming endeavors, okay? Because CWD originally was from the West, but it was isolated and not really a big deal. Well, it comes over here and presumably makes the jump from captive animals to wild animals, because one, deer are always going to interact with your livestock. No fence will ever keep a deer in. You farmers know this. Keep a deer in or out, right? And especially when you're ranching them, there's definitely very limited biosecurity measures you can do there. I would be very interested to know what kind of, what kind of biosecurity procedures dedicated cervid producers would implement in response to CWD, right? And I want to know what the USDA is doing to curb these fucking idiots that are ranching wild animals, because deer are not domesticated, with the exception of potentially reindeer. But that one's neither here nor there, because I'm not qualified to speak on that one. And that was my sticking point. It's like, how am I going to talk about that? I don't even know where I heard that originally. What I do know is I had one of the best lectures of my life from a veterinarian. He was from Eastern Kentucky. He worked for the USDA, and I believe his specialty was specifically prion disorders, right? Mad cow disease, scrapies, CWD, yada yada. And what is really cool about him, aside from his immense knowledge on the subject, a subject that I find very interesting, was that in New York, he was working, I guess, for the USDA, right? Oh, that doesn't stun him. And he was working for them, so he was up in New York, and they had a Firehouse, like, barbecue, where deer was served. Now, later, they found out that the deer that they consumed was contaminated with CWD. They didn't know this ahead of time. We're gonna die. So he ate it, and you know, the CDC is keeping tabs on all these people that eat that infected meat as kind of like a case study, because prion disorders, they take a long time to manifest typically. You know, Creutzfeldt-Jakob's variant has been known to have some quick I don't know what you would call it, realization times to symptoms, but you know, potentially you could have this issue and it not manifest for decades. And I believe he said he ate the meat back in the 90s. Well, I was watching a Steven Ranella podcast, and they actually mentioned how these guys in New York at a Firehouse ate a bunch of CWD contaminated meat, and how they're like keeping tabs on them. And it was like a CWD researcher, or whatever you want to call it, right? And I was like, that's really cool. I met that guy. I know him exactly. Why do I think prion disorders are cool? Well, it falls into the realm of like microbiology, you know, animals, livestock, stuff like that. I mean, everybody's kind of horrified about mad cow disease, justifiably so, in my opinion, right? and that's what it comes from. You know, it's not a virus. It's a misfolded protein. It's essentially a glitch in well, in the central dogma of biology, DNA, RNA, protein function. You know, it's a fundamental a fundamental failure of our biological system in a physical way that irrevocably hinders an organism. You know, it's fatal and incurable, right? Because you can't just take antibiotics for it. You can't get over it. You know, barring some potential future genetic mutations or something, some adaptation. And prion disorders primarily are prevalent in, I believe, the Kuru. You know, like Papua New Guinea, like headhunting cultures where they eat people. Because I mean, if you're gonna get the human prion disorder, Creutzfeldt-Jakob's, you're gonna get it from eating a person. So that's why it's also called like Kuru. It's interesting to me because a protein is a protein alive. Well, you know, there's some argument to be had there. I'm definitely open to that one. Unlike with viruses, some people will be like, "Are viruses alive?" And I think if you say no to that question, you have a fundamental misunderstanding of the theorized inception of life. You know, the very earliest form of life might have been fatty, you know, lipid bubbles and, you know, strands of self-replicating RNA or DNA, right? Just replace the lipid bubble with the protein sheath. I mean, you got viruses. Now that's an interesting question. Did viruses, are viruses an example of convergent evolution? Down to the very roots, like, is it an alternate form of life that evolved independent of like evolution? It just convergently evolved alongside what we know as life, you know, cellular organisms. Now that's a theory. I probably shouldn't be spouting that one on the internet. I should probably do some research. Maybe I could do something about it. But you know, this one's free of charge. Which, fun fact, I didn't know for a long time, if a human eats, you know, a mad cow, do they get mad cow disease, or how does that work? Because, you know, the human, as I said, the human prion disorders, Creutzfeldt-Jakob's. Well, I looked into it. Apparently, it's called Creutzfeldt-Jakob's variant. If a human contracts a prion disorder from a mad cow. Don't ask me why that's the case. I don't exactly know you know, why. You know, maybe they're the same disease ultimately. Yeah, I don't know. I do know prion disorders don't necessarily have to be primarily manifest or contracted through neurological tissue. Like scabies, I believe, is almost like an STD in a sense. It's passed by, I believe, amniotic fluid or some sort of reproductive fluid in sheep. Habit. Whereas CWD, I asked this specific veterinarian that was giving me the lecture, I'm like, well, how is it transmitted? Where does it come from? And his answer was to me is we don't actually know. And from what I can tell, that seems to be the common consensus, although it might be theorized to be urine, hair maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of like doomsday talk about it being like, you know, the zombie deer virus. I mean, they're not going to go around eating people, but you know, it calls into question if you weren't aware of scabies, right? Like, how do deer get a prion disorder? They're not out there eating deer typically. It can't be widespread enough to where it's happening. And I believe the for sure answer is we don't know. But maybe hair could be involved. Man, we are not we're not performing here. We're gonna go back for our gun.
Dropping a pin. Southwest. 100 meters. Reinforcing.
Um,
Deploying reinforcements. Requesting air support. New mag.
I don't know. I feel like he was probably sarcastically saying thanks.
Outpost clear.
But so be it. Who cares?
To democracy.
We got bigger fish to fry. Fish to fry. Now, I think the main draw for Prion Disorders for me is just honestly the horror aspect of it. You know, like I was saying, there's a lot of sensationalism about, oh, the protein, or, you know, it's contagious from the ground forever, something like that.
Tagging map. North.
Yes,
100
prions, if you want to sterilize equipment, you got to do it like tens of thousands of degrees, but over time, from what I understand from watching other people that are far more knowledgeable about it than I am, you know, they don't necessarily linger in the environment for as long as you might think. Okay. So that's the good news. Other good news, so far, it's not transmissible to people. You know, nobody's got it yet that we're aware of.
Enemy tactical asset with
Other good news, it's not explicitly where I am yet. Will it be eventually? Well, that seems to be the case. Not enough people are consuming deer for sustenance anymore. I'm flipping dead again. And that leads to these massive, like, overpopulations and cervids.
calling in reinforcements.
So what can you do? Well, eat more deer, but the problem is you gotta get the inverse reaction once people start thinking about CWD. They're like, eh. But then a lot of people are like, I'm gonna eat my deer anyways. If it was me and you were like, this is a CWD deer, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna eat that, brother. You couldn't pay me to eat it. But if I'm out shooting deer and, you know, I don't know, because I mean, I'm not gonna take a deer to the government to get tested. Who knows, man? Who knows? I definitely wouldn't feed it to my kid. How about that? If I knew CWD was a risk where I am, we would not be eating deer as a family. Now, me personally, would I still partake? Yeah, potentially. There's a fair chance. But if I explicitly knew that it was a CWD infected deer, no, I would not. I would not eat it. But I guess that problem is, how are you going to explicitly know if you're not testing your animals? And well, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you on that one, brother. Really don't.
Requesting air support.
I don't know. Would you eat a CWD infected deer? Maybe. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I'm sure there's some more diehard hunters than me. Now, I'm definitely like a subsistence hunter. Yeah, I love the idea of shooting a tiger or a big time buck. Don't get me wrong. If I had the money, I'd be doing Cabela's most dangerous hunts. But I don't have that money. That's not realistic for me. Like, I would go out there and shoot an elephant in the fucking forehead and not feel bad about it for a second, man. That's just awesome. One, because I'm aware of the economic conditions required for these elephants to even continue existing healthily, right? A lot of these African places, the only reason there's elephants around is because they make more money from the elephants being around and being able to be hunted than they do from just preserving the elephants and not doing anything with them. It's one of the reasons I like the idea of Teddy Roosevelt quite a bit. You know, who knows how much is propaganda, how much is true. But he was of a mind of, you need to be able to interact with nature to appreciate it. If you just put it somewhere, lock it away, and let nobody touch it, yeah, that can be good. But eventually people are gonna not know why they value it, and people are what determine policy in theory. Maybe not so much anymore. It seems like Israel probably has a lot more to do with that than your average citizen. But the point remains: teach your children the value through interacting. So yeah, big game hunts, stop dogging on those people, man. They pay thousands of dollars to do these hunts, man.
Calling in.
And that pays to keep these animals around. Like, that's the only reason we have them, is we can, you know, use them. Otherwise, if they can't make money of them in such a manner, they're just going to poach them unsustainably. And then we're not going to have any elephants or tigers. I mean, I've told my daughter this, we're probably not going to have any tigers, you know, in her lifetime. You know, this might be the last generation to see tigers, which is a really sad thought, but, you know, it is what it is. Maybe the, oh, fucking balls. Damn tigers. Get away from me. You cannot dodge these things. Oh my god. Well, it was nice knowing you. You know, if the gameplay is not sufficient on this one, hopefully at least the Discords will be. Man, talk about a bucket list item though. A genuine, like, engraved elephant gun. Oh, baby. That would be nice.
Democracy has landed.
Back when that Tiger King documentary came out, and I found out tigers were $2,000 a piece, I was trying to hatch a scheme to, like, fence in some woods, so I could hunt tigers on my property. And I was like, okay, well, if I get like a Stoger side-by-side double barrel, you know, like, you can do that pretty reasonably. We can let it loose, just fucking hunt it down. Well, it turns out that's not entirely legal, nor, you know, perhaps didn't need to be said. Not entirely a good idea either. But you know, if somebody was like, "Hey, brother, I got a tiger back yonder, you wanna come shoot it?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, dude, let's go shoot a tiger." That's a dream hunt right there. That's probably, God. Most of the animals I've wanted to hunt were North American anyways, because I mean, come on now, you got the best animals. Bring back mammoths, you can't beat it. Actually, used to work as I guess you could say a bison rancher in some capacity. A little more and a little less to that than meets the eye, but let's just say I worked with bison extensively. Oh, we're gonna die. He's still alive. If only all the megafauna weren't gone. I mean, I should just die right here so I can get res. Oh no. Come on, man. Okay, maybe we got an in. We don't have an in. We gotta get through these guys. Maybe if we juke.
This is Pelican 1. I have visual on the extraction zone.
Oh, we might, maybe. Of course, it bounces under his feet.
Watch where you're standing. Last reload.
Go, 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 go! Go! Help! Yeah, guys, I was here helping. Totally not just off in the weeds, doing whatever. It seems like they're wanting to farm some kills, which I'm not gonna tell them no, you know. Yeah, my HELLDIVERS has been really glitched lately.
Requesting advanced weaponry.
Oh, there's more supplies here. Oh god, big boom. Yeah, this has not been the best showcase, but we had a couple nice kill chains going on with the Velvet. I just think Spore Strain is just not the way to go.
Countdown initiated. Stand by for takeoff.
No fun. No fun.
Calling
Alright, well anyways, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we satisfied at least one person. Yeah, I'll show you your stats. There'll be a video tomorrow. Thanks.
Freedom wins again.